What if the holiest site in Islam, the Kaaba, wasn't originally built by Abraham at all? What if its true origins reveal a history of pagan rituals, idol worship, and ancient Arabian practices that predate Islam by centuries? For 1.8 billion Muslims, the Kaaba is the most sacred place on earth, a symbol of pure monotheism and the focal point of daily prayers. But what if the story you've been told about its history isn't the whole truth? Today, we're diving into the forgotten past of the Kaaba, its pre-Islamic origins, the secrets behind the Black Stone, and what ancient records reveal about its true purpose before Muhammad transformed it into the heart of Islam. This isn't about disrespect. It's about discovering the truth. Muslims believe that the Kaaba, the black cube in the center of Mecca, was originally built by the prophet Abraham and his son Ishmael as the first house of monotheistic worship. The Quran explicitly claims this in Surah 2, where it says, "And mention when Abraham was raising the foundations of the house and Ishmael, saying, 'Our Lord, accept this from us. Indeed, you are the hearing, the knowing.'" This passage forms the basis for the Islamic belief that the Kaaba is the original and oldest site dedicated to the worship of Allah, long before the rise of idolatry in Arabia. The Quran also claims that Abraham and Ishmael purified the site and established it as a place for monotheistic pilgrimage. However, when we examine historical records and archaeological evidence, a different story emerges. There is no archaeological support or historical document from the pre-Islamic period that connects Abraham to the Kaaba. In fact, the Bible, which predates the Quran by centuries and contains extensive genealogies and accounts of Abraham's life, makes no mention of him ever traveling to Arabia, much less building a sacred shrine there. According to the book of Genesis, Abraham lived in Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, and Canaan, modern-day Israel and Palestine, but never traveled as far south as Mecca. The Bible describes Abraham's altars in places like Shechem, Bethel, and Hebron, but never in Arabia. Furthermore, the earliest known Jewish and Christian writings never mention the Kaaba or Mecca as significant to their faiths. Even ancient Jewish texts like the Talmud and the Septuagint, which preserve centuries of tradition and history, never place Abraham or Ishmael anywhere near the Arabian Peninsula. In fact, early Christian and Jewish pilgrims who traveled extensively through the Middle East in the centuries before Islam never referenced Mecca as a holy site. This is significant because if the Kaaba was the first and oldest house of worship for the God of Abraham, it is highly unlikely that such an important site would be completely ignored by these communities. Instead, the Kaaba appears to have been a local Arabian shrine, originally dedicated to polytheistic deities. Ancient Arab poets and pre-Islamic inscriptions describe the Kaaba as a center of idol worship, housing 360 idols representing the gods of various Arabian tribes. For instance, the Kaaba's most famous pre-Islamic deity was Hubal, a major god in the Arabian pantheon who was associated with the moon and possibly war. Hubal's statue once stood directly above the well of Zamzam within the Kaaba itself, and the Quraysh tribe, Muhammad's own tribe, considered him their chief god. Even the Black Stone, now an essential part of the Kaaba, was revered long before Islam. Early Arab traditions held that the stone had fallen from the heavens and contained divine power. It was likely a meteorite or volcanic rock, a common object of veneration in many ancient cultures. This would align with the fact that meteorite worship was practiced in pre-Islamic Arabia and even in other ancient cultures, including the Greeks and Romans. So if the Kaaba was truly the first house of monotheistic worship, why is there no historical, archaeological, or scriptural evidence for this claim outside of the Quran itself? Instead, the evidence we do have suggests that the Kaaba was a pagan shrine, deeply connected to polytheistic rituals, and only later rebranded as a monotheistic site by Muhammad. This transformation was political as much as it was religious, giving Muhammad a central and unifying symbol for the tribes of Arabia as he sought to consolidate his power. When Muhammad began his mission in the 7th century, he faced a deeply polytheistic culture. The Kaaba was a focal point for the religious life of the Arabian tribes, housing 360 idols and serving as a pagan pilgrimage site. It was a place where trade, alliances, and religious rituals intersected, making it a powerful symbol of tribal unity. But as Muhammad's monotheistic message began to spread, he rebranded the Kaaba as a center of monotheistic worship, declaring it the original house built by Abraham and Ishmael for the worship of the one true God. This redefinition was crucial for his mission, as it allowed him to hijack the spiritual center of the Arab world for his new faith. After his conquest of Mecca in 630 AD, Muhammad entered the Kaaba, destroyed the idols within it, and rededicated the shrine to Allah alone. According to Sahih al-Bukhari, Volume 5, Book 59, Hadith 583, Muhammad personally oversaw the destruction of the idols, declaring, "Truth has come and falsehood has vanished." This act not only cleansed the Kaaba of its polytheistic past, but also cemented Muhammad's authority over the Arabian tribes. The transformation of the Kaaba from a pagan temple to a monotheistic sanctuary was politically strategic. It unified the tribes under a single religious identity, transforming a tribal cult into a universal religion with the Kaaba as its geographic and spiritual center. This move gave the emerging Muslim community a shared history and a sacred geography that extended beyond their immediate tribal affiliations. Additionally, this rebranding included the incorporation of pre-Islamic rituals into the new Islamic faith. The circumambulation of the Kaaba, Tawaf, the running between Safa and Marwa, and the stoning of the pillars at Mina during the Hajj all have pre-Islamic origins but were given new theological meanings under Islam. This raises a fundamental question. If the one true God had already established his pure house through Abraham, why would he permit centuries of pagan defilement and then allow his final prophet to incorporate these very pagan elements into worship? But here's the bigger picture. If the foundation of a faith is built on a rebranded pagan site, what does that say about the message it proclaims? If this made you think, if it challenged what you thought you knew, don't just stop here. Share this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more truth-seeking content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.